Well, hi everybody. As promised, here finally at last, but Kirsty is a pretty busy lady running a business and other business and children and multitude of snakes and horses and pigs and chickens and you name it. Kirsty actually has it. But here we have a flat battery going. So shoot me. Okay, I've got him. So guys, Rufus is a rough scale. Basically rough because his scales are keeled. Yeah, every scale has a ridging on it which makes them feel rough, but really guys, when you actually touch him, it's not as rough as what you think it is. You can definitely feel each individual scale on Rufus. And also, if you have a look, you'll see that prominent scale right in the middle of his head there. And that is what all roughies actually have on the top of their head. And also,
come back
the
here.
eyes.
You're trying to scoop.
These guys have the biggest eyes I've ever seen on a python, and I think that's their trait as well, is they're known for these great big eyeballs. Okay, I'm chasing you there, Rufus.
Just hold for a minute, sweetheart.
They also have, as you'll see, heat sensing pits on their lower jaw like all pythons do, but what a gentle, cruisy, chilled out guy, and all he's wanted to do since he's got here is just climb everywhere and check everything out, and yeah, curious, but Mr. Little Personality. He's telling me I've got 29 minutes guys, and it keeps on darn doing that stupid thing. But anyway, he's curious. All he's wanted to do since he's got here is climb everywhere, and he has pretty much, but one of his favourite spots is actually sitting up on Kirsty's head, and we had a bit of a dilemma before, right through her hair comb, and he was happy and she's trying to talk to somebody and had things she needed to do, and he wasn't giving up that hair comb, but we eventually got him out. But as you can see, his colours are absolutely incredible. They're so muted, as Kirsty mentioned, absolutely beautiful colours. Now these guys come from the top end, Western Australia. That is where they come from, guys. Also, that's where the top end carpet pythons come from. And lots of people can't tell them apart sometimes until they actually touch them. I mean, for me, the eyes are the dead giveaway with rough scales, but I guess out in the wild, once they're bigger, their head's grown out a bit, it's different. So, but how old is Rufus now?
4. He's 4.
He's 4 years old. And remember guys, these snakes do not get chubby. They don't have a big girth. They are a very, very slender snake. And yep, they grow to about 2 meters. Yeah. So, you know, they're a good sized snake, but not a big girth snake. Not like your coastals can get, even though they're supposed to be slim too. But I've seen a lot of chubby coastals out there. Yeah. So, and like I said, Rufus is quite happy to what's up here. You know, they are beautiful, and their temps, what these guys like it is hot.
Yeah.
They like the 32 to 35,
Oh,
and that's all
I
right.
didn't realise you'd taken off out of my hair.
32 to 35, but they also handle 20 degrees on their cooler side, because up there, I tell you, during the day it's hot, and overnight it is cold, and you get a good idea of that head, and the size of his I'm going to say little head, but he's got a big head actually.
Yeah.
But beautiful temperament. And how you've only had him for
6 months now.
6 months, and you've got, what are your others that you actually have?
So I've got.
If she can remember them all.
So I have a couple of Stimsons from the Wheatbelt area. I have an Atherton jungle, and another jungle. I'm not exactly sure the region that he comes from though. I have a coastal carpet. I have 2 Bredleys, and a couple of children's, and a spotted. I think that's it.
Wow.
For now.
And when I met Kirsty, how many snakes did you have, Kirsty?
You might have one.
And as much as we, trust me guys, we're both guilty to each other, as in, yeah, let's get one of those ones, basically.
Yeah.
And we kind of are softies as well. We see something, oh, that's just beautiful, and yeah, I want one of those ones. And the thing
I
is,
forgot my Darwin.
oh yes,
Ragnar
yes.
the Horrible. Bites me.
Ragnar is his name, and he is a rag.
Yes.
How old is Ragnar now?
He might be. Well, he was born December,
Right. So
so he's nearly 6 months.
right. So he's still really
Yeah, but he's just. I think he's always going to be a bit of an ass. To be
okay.
quite frank.
There you go.
Handle him all the time, and he's still the same. I don't know if he'll ever get over it.
Okay. And some snakes don't, guys. You know, that's what I try and sort of say to people. Yeah, putting time in with them, handling them all the time, doing things with them. Yes, it will tame them down, and they will start to cruise. But I tell you what, there's that odd one that you will get that,
Or
no.
like a human, you know.
Yeah.
You can get a painter backside human, and
Yeah.
sometimes you just get that with a snake.
But that doesn't mean, well, I don't want it.
No, I could never just get rid of this.
You know, I mean, that is just the way he is. And you've got plenty of other snakes that love their smooches and their cuddles anyway. But, you know, I've been hanging out to show this Ruffy to people. And, you know, they get rough scales. Well, why they have rough scales is because each individual scale has a ridge in it.
Yeah.
And some run all the way to the tip of the scale, others don't. So some are rougher and some are smoother. So they all feel a little bit differently. But believe me, they say they're rough.
No, it's just sort of
It's-
like running your finger over. I don't know.
Some bumps.
Yeah.
Because it really is. It's
It's
smooth.
smoother than sandpaper. It's hard to explain. It's
Yeah.
just sort of just gentle ridges. Apparently, they think that the reason for the scales being this way is because the environment they're in is quite sandy and quite harsh. They
Yeah.
use those as ways to move in and out
And
of
to
crevices
grip.
and to grip onto things.
Absolutely. Because sandstone and stuff is quite smooth.
Yeah.
So I guess that's
They need
their
that little bit of
grip.
extra.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, geckos have suction
Cuppy
things and all
Yep.
sorts. So they've just adapted to their environment,
Yeah.
and that's how they are. But you know, they aren't a commonly kept. Actually, I don't know whether they aren't a commonly kept captive snake.
Well, they were endangered up until the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So they were sort of rediscovered. I cannot for the life of me remember the name. He was a fella from the University of Queensland who was doing a trip for something completely different out in WA, and he came across some of these fellas and brought a couple back because they were endangered. They were listed as endangered, and then he, along with a few other breeders, started to breed them in captivity to replenish the breed. So they're not as rare as they were, but they are still, for a lot of people that love their pythons and their snakes, they are still seen to be one of the
lesser.
Well, just something special.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, Rufus is his personality. I mean, his whole thing is just special.
Yep.
And he talks. He does this whistling in my ear.
Yep. And he does. He spends a lot of time on Kirsten's.
He loves my
Kirsty's head and wrapped around her little ponytail here. He's quite happy to do that, and I had a bit of a battle getting him off earlier on.
I wish we got that on video.
Yeah, absolutely. But as you can see, you know, he's 4 years old and he's not a big boy yet.
No.
You know, he's got a lot of growing to do.
Yeah.
At 2 meters, that's not a short snake.
No.
But just remember, he will be long and slender.
Yeah, he may also be slightly smaller because he is a rescue.
Yes.
And the lady that I got him from didn't seem overly confident in how she was feeding, and she wasn't handling him at all. So
Yeah.
I am uncertain whether or not part of the reason he's a bit small at this age is because he wasn't being fed adequately.
And that will happen.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
and you know, I've just spoken to Kirsty about a video that I'm about to edit in terms of feeding your snake. And I'm not talking about starving your snake. I'm talking about feeding them to equate to having a little bit smaller snake than what they would be normally out in the wild. But I tell you, out in the wild, you do not see great big massive snakes like you do in captivity. You know, we as humans have a bit of a bad habit of feeding too much to what the snake really actually needs.
A lot
And
of overfeeding.
yeah, and you know, we don't want fat snakes. But I've had people say, you know, I really want this specific breed, but they get too big. And there is a way of keeping that breed small, or that species smaller, and doing them no harm. But it's up to you personally. A lot of people want the big snake because they want a big snake, but other people want that one for their personality or their temperament or whatever. But I couldn't handle one of those at that size. Well, okay, you don't have to. This is a way that you can do it. But I'll get that video up, and I'm sure I'm going to get hit with, that's no good for the snake and all the rest of it. But it has been proven that it is okay to do that with your snakes. But Rufus, I tell you, I've had some handling with him, and I'll keep him. And I'd have no hesitation in keeping him, but I am already name on the list to get one of these guys, and you know, hopefully there's more breeding of them and more get out there, because I think you would not be disappointed with having one of these guys as a part of your collection. So you know, they aren't commonly kept because there's not that many. They aren't everywhere. No. I don't know how many are in captivity right now, but I do know there's not a lot, because they're one species that if you can get your hands on one, guys, go for it.
Definitely.
So I want to thank, because not that we can see very much of Rufus anymore, because he is in his, I'll get out of that light. In his, yeah, I'm just going to zoom so I be in focus, and I'll try and get some of that beautiful face of his and that eyeball that I lost because once again my camera did its thing on me. But he's posing perfectly here. Well, you are a handsome man. That's all I can say, Rufus, and you're welcome in my home anytime you feel like popping in. And of course, I'll just shoot up here very quickly to let you know that Lily's been hanging out up there the whole time and hasn't budged, which is Lily. And we'll be there until I probably go to bed tonight. But, you know, yeah, let your snake out and let him get exercise. Yeah, good-o. That really works around here, like up and lay down and go back to sleep again, basically. But thank you so much, Kirsty, because I know you are busy, busy, busy lady. She has a multitude of snakes and horses and chickens and pigs.
If you're ever in the Queensland area, come and see some crazy creatures.
Absolutely. And you guys know I go there, and you know that's where I get my stuff.
Yeah.
And
He's
but
done it again.
yeah, so I'm going to have to give Mum a hand here. And anyway, guys, I'm going to say ciao, and let's see if I can get him out. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.